Hey everybody, if you're here because you're getting your very first CPAP machine, you've come to the right place. Today we're going to go over everything you need to know about using and taking care of your CPAP machine to treat your sleep apnea. So we're going to start off with the side effects of sleep apnea. Most people think of snoring, having trouble like tossing and turning and staying asleep, and feeling tired during the day. But there's a lot of other body symptoms that can be affected by your untreated sleep apnea. So we're going to go over all those symptoms, and you can hope to see improvement on those things once you get the hang of your CPAP machine. Then we're going to talk about how a CPAP works to actually open your throat and go over the way you put it together, take it apart, and maintain your device. And then we'll talk about your mask. We'll take it apart, we'll put it together, we'll get it on you, get it fitted to your face, and then we'll put them together and give it a try. Okay, we're going to pause right here, and I want you to mark off on the checklist all of the symptoms that you had. Okay, everybody ready? So now at the bottom of your checklist is a number. That number is your AHI, or your number of events. So let's talk a little bit more about how we came up with that number and how it's affecting you. During your sleep study, we monitored your breathing to check for breaths that were taking longer than they are supposed to. A normal breath is in and out in about 3 seconds. But this breath would take longer than 10 seconds to be completed. So you're either snoring or your throat is trying to close. At the same time, your oxygen would drop down because of it by at least 4%. So if that happens, then we mark that against you as an event. We add up all the events that you had during the sleep study, and we divide that by how long you slept to get our average, or AHI. So when we look at how well your PAP is working, we're going to be checking to see if those events have dropped back down into a normal range. Your CPAP machine is basically like a fancy fan. You can see here that it blows air down your nose and throat, and when you inhale, it's easy because we're going the same direction. I'm pushing and you're pulling. But when you blow out against me pushing in, that creates all this pressure that builds up and lifts the back of your tongue and your uvula and anything dangling into the way up out of your way so that you can breathe normally. If you have any issues with the air pressure, like if you feel bloated in the morning or smothered at night, or if anybody hears you snoring still, those are signs your pressure is not quite right and we need to call your sleep doctor. Now, I'm in charge of your mask and your machine. So if your dog eats your tubing, you're calling me. If you just need more supplies for your CPAP machine, you're calling me. If it's making a weird noise or you just need advice, you're going to want to give us a call. So there's a 2-year warranty on your new baby. You cannot smoke anything around it. If you drop it, especially with the water in it, the water will flood the machine and kill it. So be careful about that. No So Clean machines and no bugs. So be careful where you take your PAP device. Every 5 years, you can get a new machine. So you'll just be getting a new order from your sleep doctor and coming back to see us. You can fly with your equipment for free. You just slide it over your little rolly bag. You take it on the plane, and they're going to store it in an overhead compartment as medical equipment. So it will not count against your carry-ons. And anything you need, we just mail straight to your house. We're going to call you 4 times a year to see if you need those supplies, and we're going to mail you a goodie box. So now we're going to go over all those pieces that you might be replacing, and the air filter is probably the most important
Because the machine is a fan, it needs fresh air all the time. So we want to throw our filter away or wash it depending on what kind of machine you have. Distilled water is always best in our humidifier because there's no mineral to have to scrub out and no germs that are going to make you sick. And when you go to wash your stuff, use warm soapy water like baby shampoo, ivory, or dish soap. So all these pieces that you need to take care of are listed on the back of your paper. So let's turn it over and let's go over your device piece by piece. Now we're going to go over all the parts of your new AirSense 10 machine. So if you're looking at the front of it, this up here is your start and stop button. And if you kind of tip it toward yourself, you're going to be able to read that it says start and stop. And then this button takes you home. So this is your home screen. So if you find yourself somewhere you don't want to be, you can just hit the little house button and it will take you back to this menu every time. And then this button controls the blue square. So if you give that a turn, you'll see it move up and down. There you go. So you would just click it if you wanted to make any choices. And we'll dig a little deeper into your menus here in a second. So we're going to start off by making sure we've already got him plugged in. So on this side, you're going to turn your machine so that you can see the side of it. And you got that little Swiss cheese door. Back here in this corner is a little notch. You stick your finger in there and pop your little door open. And then you would just take your filter out. You're going to throw him away every 2 weeks, just like little paper says. And put your new one in. So we got your spare right there on the table. Send him home with you. Be careful not to say anything in the way of that door so it can suck in fresh air all the time. Now we're going to talk about your water tank. So to get it out of there, you're going to grab it like a big C and you're going to pull him right out of the side of the machine. And then halfway down, there's a little notch there. So you can stick your thumb, yep, right there. Pull out underneath that and lift him up. And then you would dump your distilled water in up to that little max line on the front there. You see him? Perfect. So then you snap him shut and you're going to slide him right back in the side of your machine. You're going to want to dump him out every day to make sure there's no stinky water sitting in your machine and you don't get any water damage. So we're going to hook your tube on. Go ahead and turn your machine around. And this little end has a plug. It's okay if this plug gets wet when you wash this tube out once a week. Go ahead and just be careful when you put him in there. Perfect. Now you can rotate that to whatever side of the bed you want to be on. And you'll need to squeeze those buttons and pull it to get it back out of there. Perfect. So just be careful of where your plug is when you go to put him back in later. Exactly. Awesome. Okay. So now we're going to talk about your screen. So I've already programmed your machine for you. So go ahead and just hit your start button up on top of the machine for me. Exactly. See how he lights up white like that? So first all the lights come on and you can hear it blowing. But if you have your mask on right, you shouldn't hear a thing. And then he should go dark. There you go. So it looks unplugged when it's running, but you can hear and feel that it is if any air is coming out. So your screen looks like this. If you turn the little knob, he'll light back up for you. And you're going to see your pressure is set right here. And then what's in the circle is the pressure that you're on. So since your machine starts off real gently, you actually don't have a ramp in this corner. Your corner's blank. So he would ease up slowly for you with that ramp feature if your pressure was high. But since you start off low, we're just starting you straight onto your start pressure. And then you have the fancy plug-in too. So the corner of yours should say auto right here. And that means it's going to test your bedroom and adjust the moisture according to your house. So if you suddenly go to Florida, it would adjust for Florida. So you don't have to make changes. You can just let it go and year round it's going to take good care of you. So you can see that that heat is on up here. And that's right next to my little baby bars. So those bars send your data to me every day. They tattletale to Big Sister so that I can keep an eye on you and I know how it's going at your house. So when you've So when you're done using it for the night, you're going to stop the machine in the morning. There you go. And you'll see that he lights up for you. So every time you take it off, it pops up your little sleep report on how you did. It starts off with your usage time, and you notice it doesn't say sleep time. And that's because it gives you credit for every little minute you have it on. Did it give you a minute for me to standing here talking? There you go. So then it should be happy with your mask seal because I had my hand over and it was closed off, so it was nice and quiet. So we know we had a good seal last night. He will actually turn red and frown at you if you are leaking too much. And then your humidifier should always be happy unless the little heat plate underneath the water chamber shorts out. So if you ever see that, you're gonna wanna call me. So now that we've run it, even though we just ran it for a minute, it's cooling, and you can actually feel that coming out of your tube. So it's just a little tiny breeze, and that's gonna go for about 20 minutes, and then it'll shut itself off. So I like to dump my water out so that there's no water in the tank, and then just put it back in the machine, and that cool breeze is gonna go through and blow any dampness out of your circuit. That way it'll smell fresh when you go to put it back on tonight. Now that we've talked about your sleep report, let's take a look at your menu. So go ahead and hit the house button, and it's gonna take you to the main screen. So now you should have my options and sleep report. So sleep report is where we just came from. So the only thing you haven't seen is my options. So let's make sure that's blue, and then click your round button, and it's gonna open your options. And now you have a whole list of things you can mess with. So this is your ramp time. That's where I've already turned that off for you. Since we don't need to ease you up to a high pressure, I've already turned it off. But if you ever decide you wanted ramp turned on, you can literally turn your knob and go to that blue line. Go make that line blue right here. And then give it a click. So now you have a little turn dial, and you can turn it left or right to increase or decrease your ramp time. So that would either make it go up faster or slower depending on how you set it to your main pressure. But like I said, for today, since your pressure's so soft, you can probably go ahead and turn him off. So on your device, the next two things are humidity level and tube temperature, because we plugged in that fancy heated tube. So that's where it adjusts itself, so they should both say automatic. Right beneath your climate line and tube temperature, it says mask, and we need to make sure it's set to pillow. So you're gonna turn your knob down to that line and give it a click. And then turn the knob to choose pillow, and then click it again. Nice, so now your mask is all set. And if you ever switch to a full face, you'd wanna go there and change it back to something else, whatever you've got your new mask style. The next one down is your mask fitting tool. He's kind of cute, go ahead and push on that one. So he's gonna start to blow really hard, and you'll see him change to a sad face. But just like that, with your mask sealed well, he's happy. So that's a great way to test and see if you've got your mask on right. So if you keep waking up to sad faces on your sleep report, come here and run the mask fit test. Just be prepared, because he blows a lot harder than your start pressure. There you go. So once you're happy that he's happy, you can go ahead and push the button to turn him off. Awesome. The next one down is your warm up, where you could actually preheat the heater if you wanted to. I don't know a lot of people who do that, but if you had a lot of dry mouth, then that would be an option to warm up the humidifier before you go to bed. Or if you just feel chilly easily and you think it's cold when you first put your mask on, that little feature will warm up your water in advance. Right below that is airplane mode, and if you click on him, it will show you that you can turn off my bars at the top. So if you decide you're going to sleep on a jet, you would put it in airplane mode, and then it would not transmit while you were in the air. It's just going to hold your data, and then when you get home or back to some bars and you've got it turned on, it's going to transmit everything I missed. So I won't lose anything. Okay, so now that we've got your machine assembled and ready to rock, let's get your mask out, and we're going to go over all the pieces. So this is on the back of your paper too, and we're going to cross off the stuff you don't have. Most of your maintenance is weekly, but once a day you're going to wash the part that actually touches your face. So let's get it out and put it together. Okay, now that you got your mask on, it's time to give it a try, and I'm going to give you some tips for getting the hang of all this. So keep in mind that you're starting a new habit today, and new habits take time. Even your insurance is giving you 90 days to try to work out the kinks and get the hang of it. And sometimes it can be a bit of a process. Sometimes the doctor and I need to make changes to smooth things out. So try to be patient with it. Feel free to put it on and just watch TV or do something with your hands. You basically want to just distract yourself so you're not thinking about every little breath that you take, and you can ease into it a little bit. Try not to skip any days. If you skip a day, you'll skip a week before you know it. And the only excuse insurance accepts is being in the hospital. Every little minute that you wear your machine counts. So when you put it on and you practice, you'll get credit for that too. And as soon as you hit 4 hours, they'll pass you for the night. Keep in mind that your day starts at noon and goes all the way around to noon again. So you've got 24 hours to get your 4 hours in. But your doctor is expecting you to wear it all night and every single nap that you take. So you're going to want to follow back up with him within 90 days so you can show off your good behavior.